relax. I'll give you that time. Yes, Bonnie, what is it?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this. I respect the rules of debate. And Professor Ojienda has challenged me that I'm proceeding.
He has challenged you after you mentioned his name.
Yes, but correctly so, that I don't have facts. Mr. Speaker, I'll move under the standing orders to bring the substantive motion. But just
No,
so
no,
as
bring
to
the
say,
motion.
Not
Don't
now.
hand anything.
Not
Bring
now.
the motion.
Not now, Mr. Speaker.
Next week.
I'll bring. But so that the record remains clear, on 18th of March, 2015, Mr. Speaker,
No, you can't
the Chief
proceed that with
Magistrate
Senator Karware.
of Kibera
Senator Karware,
ordered that
on that
Professor
matter.
Ojienda's account at Standard Bank, he should be investigated.
Karware, you're out of order. Bonnie Karware, Senator Karware. Senator Karware. Senator Karware, you risk now facing the door. Yes, Senator Samson Chelage.
Mr. Speaker, to allow the House to proceed, Senator, could you rule that Senator Professor Tom Ojienda and Senator Boni Khalwale are out of order as per the Standing Order 103? Because these are matters of sub judice, Mr. Speaker. We are aware they are under receivership proceedings that are ongoing in court. And they are bringing alive matters before this House, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I request that you rule out of order both Senator Professor Tom Ojienda and Senator Boni Khalwale. And by the way,
it's
Mr.
only
Speaker,
Senator Boni Karware who is out of order, not Senator
no,
Professor.
Mr. Speaker, but also Senator Professor Tom Ojienda has brought matters that are under receivership that are being litigated in court. So he's also out of order, Mr. Speaker, as per Standing Order 103.
He was provoked beyond reasonable parameters.
No, but Mr. Speaker, the Standing Order does not say when you are provoked beyond reasonable doubt or beyond emotional limit or beyond reason, you must discuss issues that are alive, Mr. Speaker, before the court. So they should be ruled out of order, both of them, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Andy.
Mr. Speaker, I raise on a point of order number 98, 4, and urge you to request Senator of Kakamega probably to leave the chambers, because you have ruled in a matter twice, and he persistently continues to rise on the same matter and insist to discuss the same matter, even when you have ruled that this matter should be brought as a motion. He still goes ahead and prosecutes on the matter, Mr. Speaker. Is he in order? In fact, it's a very gross violation of not only a point of order, but also disrespect to the chair. So, with point of order number 98-4, may you ask the Senator of Kakamega to leave the chambers? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Senator Oredoma.
Mr. Speaker, I'm standing under standing order number 1, but I'm very sure there's another standing order I cannot remember. We are discussing a statement that has been brought by the distinguished senator from Kisumu. Earlier on, your brother, the Speaker, gave us directions on what we should do when it comes to debating statements. In fact, if I remember very well, the Speaker directed that when it comes to contributing to statements, we limit our contribution to what we want the committee to carry out and investigate. I'd like to seek your indulgence on this matter so that we can proceed, because earlier on you limited our time for debate to 2 minutes. We are now moving into personal issues. The distinguished senator from Bungoma,
That ruling,
Kakamega, clearly
Senator
stated that
Redama
this is an
Orekina.
emotive matter. So I'd like to beseech you, Mr. Speaker, that we do not tolerate this matter anymore. Can you give us directions on this statement so that we can move forward?
Resume your seat. The two statements are referred to the Committee on Agriculture. Senator William Cheptumo.
Mr. Speaker, I think my colleague, Honorable Senator Narok, has said what I wanted to say. Even for Honorable Cherarke to allege that Senator Ochenda has spoken about the matter in court, he only said that there is proceedings in court. I think, Mr. Speaker, so that we utilize our time more productively, it is important that you proceed as proposed by my colleagues so that we move to the other
Senator
issues.
Cheptumo, I gave you on a different matter, not on the sugar
okay.
issue.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At least I have used... Mr. Speaker, the point I wanted to raise is that I wanted to guide my colleagues in the House. My committee, Mr. Speaker, has received a number of statements, and especially on matters on drought and food distribution. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, here, the Minister for East Africa and ASELS and Regional Development appeared before my committee to answer questions touching on the issue of relief, distribution, and so on. It transpired, Mr. Speaker, in that session that department now, or special programs, under the Executive Order number 1, is actually now squarely in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to make this clear so that as my colleagues continue to raise questions, they should be able to refer to the Executive Order number 1 so that they are able to direct the questions to the relevant departments. Mr. Speaker, in particular now, my brother Otozi, Senator, has raised an issue on the same subject, and it was read, I think, in the morning. But I felt it was good for me, as a responsible chair, to assist my colleagues so that in future, they raise questions on relief distribution to Minister of Labor and Social Protection. That will save members' time, Mr. Speaker, rather than them directing to my committee, then we write to you, and we lose a lot of time. That is all I wanted to clarify, Mr. Speaker, today. I think it's very important.
Thank you, Senator Cheptumo. I hope now members are well advised that issues on relief should be directed to the Minister of Labor, not security, not the Committee on Security, to the Committee on Labor. That is the Ministry of Labor is now in charge of the food distribution. Majority Leader, make your statement under 57(1).
Mr. Speaker, sugar is a very important cash crop in my county. In fact, after tea, the next big earner in my county is sugarcane. And therefore, I had a small comment on the statement brought by my neighbor.
I'll make your comment. You know, it is Senator KHALWALE who digressed a lot.
Yeah.
We are forced to cover debate on the sugar issues today.
For sure. But the matter has been ably handled by yourself, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important matter. But looking at the issues that have been raised by our colleague, Senator Ochenda, I believe his biggest relief or reprieve to the people he represents in this House is for him to walk to the Director Legal, either in Senate or National Assembly, extract a copy of the sugar bill that was developed by the National Assembly, and come and push it in this House. All these issues, we've talked about all these matters for the last 10 years in this House, and it's a shame as leaders we have not been able to do this. So I want to urge, just like we formed a caucus of last parliament of senators from the tea-growing counties, and we were able to fight together until we came up with a revolutionary act of parliament that increased the earnings of our farmers. There's still a lot to be done. I want to urge you, Senator Tom, that gather us together also as senators representing counties that are have sugarcane growing farmers, and we will work together. I believe there's nothing in this statement that cannot be addressed by that particular bill, because this is a very important industry in our economy, Mr. Speaker. I also want to add just a simple comment that we must as well expedite the process of privatization. The reason why Uganda continues to produce more sugar than us is because 20 years ago, Uganda took the decision to privatize what were then public mills. And since then, they have become extremely profitable. They have a surplus. That's why they feed us. That's why on many occasions when we block sugar from Uganda, within 2 weeks, President Museveni or his Minister for Finance and Trade arrives here in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. That needs not to be the situation. I believe if we conclude on that exercise, and the task force completed on the exercise, Privatization Commission has done all the studies, we know what the value of the mill and the nucleus across all the 18 publicly owned sugar factories in the country, what the value is. So we need just to take a decision and inform or call the minister to this house to give us the roadmap, especially those of us that are interested parties representing farmers that continue to wallow in poverty. I don't agree with the statement made by Senator Ledama that sugar is a poor man's crop. It's not true. That's a statement based on ignorance, Mr. Speaker. I know for a fact that even in my county, farmers that have sugarcane and tea, on many occasions, if they manage, because it's all about the ability to develop your cane well. If you invest well, put the correct amount of fertilizer, irrigate it properly, allow it to mature, you don't use any shortcuts, you have better earnings than even in any other crop, Mr. Speaker. Or you said lazy mans. No. Don't call my farmers lazy. They are very hardworking. And even your own farmers I was in Kilgoris 3 weeks ago, because I know a lot about this sector because I'm an investor in the sugar industry, Mr. Speaker. And I was in his county. Kilgoris as a town will become a ghost town if he dares encourage his farmers to move away from sugarcane farming. They rely on it 100%. That town revolves because of sugar. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I look forward to Senator Tom perhaps inviting us and forming a tea caucus or sugarcane caucus of senators that represent this. And all of us, we can sit down and conclude, expedite the bill, and our farmers can enjoy. I move on to this statement, Mr. Speaker. It's a statement by the Majority Leader that, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1, I present the business of the Senate the week commencing Tuesday, the 22nd of November, 2022. That, Mr. Speaker, sir, on Tuesday, the 22nd of November, 2022, the Senate Business Committee will consider and approve the business for the day. This is projected to contain business that will not be concluded from today's order paper and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. The order paper for Wednesday, 23rd November, and for Thursday, 24th, will contain business that will not have been concluded in the previous day, respectively, as well as petitions, statements, and any other business scheduled by the SBC. Mr. Speaker, sir, in terms of legislative business, 2 bills are awaiting the second reading stage. These bills are the County Vocational and Training Bill, Senate Bill number 3 of 2022, I think by Senator Moses Kajwang, if I'm not wrong, and the County Government's Additional Allocation Bill, Senate Bill number 4 of 2022. The County Government's Additional Allocation Bill has been scheduled in today's order paper. In view of the need of both houses of parliament to expeditiously consider and pass the bill, preferably before we can break for the long recess and before the House can rest for the Christmas holidays. Because, like I explained, Mr. Speaker, this bill is locking billions, hundreds of billions actually, of donors, funding, and other conditional grants to our counties, Mr. Speaker. And it's really unfortunate because, but I want it to be known in the public domain that as Senate, we have been ready and have done our best. We are actually awaiting a report of reconciliation from our engagement with Treasury. That's the information I got from Senator Ali Roba, the chairman of Budget and Finance Committee. And as of this afternoon, when we resumed our sitting, Treasury was yet to send that particular report. So it's the Treasury actually that is standing on the way. The reason I say that, Mr. Speaker, is because nowadays any governor that I bump into, and those that have access to my phone, those that are known to me personally, the one thing they are calling to ask that we expedite